Hello and welcome back to Experiencing Love. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to chatting with me. Even though as of right now, it's pretty one-sided. I've had a really great day today. It was a long one. And one thing I noticed is that when you're doing work for long periods of time, you don't have as much time for maybe things that you used to do. For example, I now spend upwards of 10 to 12 hours at work. And because of that, I don't have the same amount of time and energy to say binge watch a show. Or not even just binge watch at this point. I don't even have the energy to watch a single episode. It got me thinking about all those times I've watched different clips, whether on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, about, building businesses and how so many of these entrepreneurs are talking about, cutting out Netflix, cutting out, sitting out on the couch and watching television, making sure to exercise. And while I always understood on a somewhat surface level why that's important, I also realized that there may be like a chicken or the egg situation where that instead of cutting those things out in order to work, some people may have actually just worked so hard that they don't have the energy to do those other things. They say that they've cut it out, but in reality, what they just did is they started working harder at their mission, at the things that they're trying to do. So that was just like a fun little realization where I'm like, wow, there's a part of me genuinely that would like to just catch up on the last episode of Stranger Things, right? The very last one. It's the only one I haven't seen yet. And I have friends who have watched it or who are going to watch it. And I know we're going to talk about it, as like a fun little catch up conversation. And I'm not ready for it because ever since it came out, I have been working so hard. And I love working hard. I love putting myself in a position where I can work hard, where I work hard so that I'm helping out the people around me. That's the type of working hard that I like to do. I don't like to do the mindless type of working hard, the one where I'm not connected with the result or the outcome, where it just feels like busy work instead of, I guess, passion work, maybe a term. I don't know. I don't talk about it enough that I have phrases for this yet. But the point is the same. The point is, I want to show up in a way where what I'm doing really matters. And sometimes you may not even realize what really matters, or you may not realize what you're doing really does matter. Because finding something that really matters is not about being given something of value like that, a task of value. It's about finding value in the task. And not every task, not every project, not every role is going to hold the same weight for everyone. I know that there's some people who would love what I'm doing, while at the same time, there's people who would hate to do what I'm doing. It has nothing to do with the job, or I don't want to say it has nothing to do, but it has less to do with the role itself and the job itself and the work itself, and more to do with the person in that role, the person doing that job. And the same goes for you. The same goes for the fact that it's not about what you're doing. It's about the value and the reason behind it. The value that you give it based on the reason. Our lives have value based on the value that we give it. In truth, we could go into a very, I feel like there's probably some form of philosophy / psychology version of this, but like a very like darker way of thinking where we can say nothing matters. I think that's nihilistic. Maybe. I don't know enough about philosophy to make that statement. But some people could argue that there really is no point to a lot of things. And my argument that I use for myself, I don't care as much what other people choose to believe in that regard. What I know for myself is that I give what I do value. I choose to see a purpose. I choose to see a reason for the things that I'm doing. Not everybody makes that same choice. Some people choose to believe that there is no reason for everything. Life is filled with coincidences, and eventually we're all going to die, and there's nothing that comes after that. That may be true. That may be true for them. For me, what I know to be true is that there's a reason for everything. I don't believe in coincidences. My job is not to control everything. It's not to make something happen. My job is to find the reason as to why something happens. To release my control, to release my desire to have that control, to impose my will on everything, and to instead play this game, have fun, and just guess why something is the way it is. Because I also know I won't have the answer. And so if I won't have the answer, well then, it truly is up to my imagination, and it's my choice. In that same way that I give value to what I do, I give value to the reasons as to why things happen. I may never know what I'm doing here, why I am the way I am. I may never know why I've met the people I've met and I've seen the things I've seen. But I could guess. I could look in hindsight and I can guess. Because ultimately what I'm doing is I'm looking at my past and finding patterns. I'm finding patterns because those patterns, which once long ago were be unconscious or in the subconscious, I'm bringing to light and I'm using them for later. I'm either encouraging them or replacing them. And so going from one to the other, going from my past and finding patterns to going towards my future and creating patterns is how I'm going to create the life that I want to create. It's how I'm going to realize my visions, realize my dreams and my purpose. Our lives are filled with patterns. So once you get good at noticing patterns, you could get good at using patterns, and then you could get good at creating patterns. Basically, it's this. When you know what you want in your life, you know that there's a set of patterns that someone who has that life is doing. When you realize that, you know which patterns to start doing. And the longer you do those things, the sooner you're going to fall into place, into that lifestyle, into that mindset that you are looking for. Now, the best part is, once you get there, you're going to want something different. You're going to want the next thing. And that's awesome. That's natural. It's part of our journey of learning and growing. Because on the way to becoming one version of ourselves, we may discover a different version that we want to be even more. You will follow that, step by step. Maybe it'll be immediate, maybe it'll be later on in life, but you will follow that. Just remember, along the way, let's celebrate. Be joyous, be excited, be glad that you are where you are. It hasn't been easy for you. hasn't been easy for me. And it's not supposed to be easy. Life is not about being or experiencing something difficult or something easy. It's not about having an easy or difficult life. It's about having a life that's worth it. And the only way that your life can truly be worth it is if you decide it's worth it. That's the value that you give it. So make the choice. You've already done it up until now. Now do it consciously and say, my life is so worth living. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And on that note, I will say thank you to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you. Until we meet again, just remember to always fill up with the love. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.